So maybe humanity is, to use the metaphor, a child. And after a long period of development, early development, we're now starting to crawl out of the crib. To extend the metaphor, maybe planet Earth is like, the womb here. And we're just starting out. And we'll grow and expand, as humanity, or reach across the whole galaxy and beyond. And then someday, we'll look at the galaxy, and we'll say, wow, this is a really small place we've got here. What about all those other galaxies? And you keep going. It's very interesting how every moment in all history is simultaneously the absolute peak of all that has come and the very basic starting point of all that is yet to come. Like right now, I've got all this incredible technology at my fingertips. Look at this light. Look at this. I can make light just by willing it by a turn of a switch. Not to mention the internet. I have all this flipping technology, and it's all the result of all the development humanity has been doing over all these thousands of years, or millions if you'd like to include, the evolution of life in general, or billions if you'd like to include the evolution of the universe in general since the Big Bang, or maybe more than that if there was stuff even before the Big Bang. All this progress leads up to this moment, and yet, this moment is just like this tiny little beginning of like where we're supposed to go next. And someday they'll refer to us as the ancient Earthlings. That is a weird thought for you, isn't it? Someday, they'll be like, we're trying to speculate on where humanity began, and we think it was within one of these 3 or 4 solar systems, and and they won't have it quite right. And someday we may very well forget which planet we came from. Just as at the moment, we're trying to figure out which place in Africa we came from. Well, we don't really know. It's kind of in this area. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. You can go on about this. As a matter of fact, for the moment, I am going on. Thank you for listening. How about the idea, read about this, there's GPS, right? And everything's getting tracked so much more. And so I'm saying, pretty soon we'll lose the idea of being lost. Because we've had that for all of human history, that you can wander off somewhere and I don't know where I am anymore. And soon enough there'll be GPS everywhere. Heck, someday maybe like implanted into your wrist or something, and just be like, take me home. And it'd be like, beep, beep, that way. And you'd be like, oh, okay. And we lose that, like, as a culture, as a species. That's an interesting thought. Then again, we'd soon find more places to get lost in, wouldn't we? Interesting thing about humanity's current stage of development is we've got this planet Earth, right? And everywhere on planet Earth can be accessed from any other place on planet Earth pretty easily. I mean, depending on who you are. But basically, you get yourself an airplane, which are, pretty run-of-the-mill these days, commercially anyway. The average person does not own an airplane. The average person can get an airplane ticket. Or at least the average person in my country. I should not speak for all the poor people and, all over the world. There are a lot of them. Yeah. Anyway, get an airplane, which isn't all that extravagant. You can travel around the globe, around all of humanity, in, a matter of, hours, really. It would, I guess it would take more than a day, depending which airplane you're in. And heck, if you get any spaceship, you can go around in a matter of an hour and a half or something, right? Not that hard at all. And that's all of humanity. All of intelligent species, so far as we know, easily accessed. And then there's all this other stuff out there, all these other planets, which we can't actually access right now. Like, we've sent a couple probes to Mars, but it's so distant. Interesting how we're all crowded in this one place. We can talk to each other so easily. And everything else is so distant. And I wonder if eventually we'll kind of reverse that and we'll invent a frontier again. You know, because there used to be the idea of way out there in China or whatever, there are strange things, you know, and you'd have little way of knowing much about them, little way of contacting them. It was so far away by the current technology and ability to go to China and get pictures from China. Heck, they hadn't even invented photographs back then. So eventually we may have people like on Mars and on Earth. And then suddenly we lose this thing of everything being so close to each other because Mars would be really far away from our current perspective. Because even at the closest reach, I think it's like 20 minutes for light to get there, something like that, isn't it? For radio waves to transmit. And so then a conversation each way would be like 20 minutes for one sentence, and then 20 minutes back to the other reply. So then we'd be like writing letters essentially instead of this real-time voice chat we're used to. And then of course we'll find a way to subvert that, and suddenly Mars will seem very close because we've invented like faster than light communication, and we can do real-time things again.